will be asked to come forward to the microphone and express their opinion. Each side will have a total of 10 minutes to speak. Developmental plans require a public hearing. However, no action will be taken by the Planning Commission members. Plats, rezoning, revised master plans, street renaming, and text amendments require a public hearing, and once the public hearing is completed, the Planning Commission will deliberate and render their decision. Planning Commission members with a personal or financial interest in any petitioner's request are required to recuse themselves. The members of the commission are Kippy Tate, Patrick Moss, Clay McInnes, Cruz Reeves, Buddy Hardwick, Frank Cook, Jerome Moore, and I'm James Reed. When you come up to the microphone, please speak directly into the microphone. The minutes are recorded for legal purposes, and this is the only way to accurately pick up an audio. Tonight we have 8 members, and it takes 5 members to pass a motion. Because of the number of board members present, if you would like to delay your request, please let us know when your request is announced. Oh, I'm sorry. The members of the land use staff are Tommy Tyson, James Center, Tanya Ingram, and Adina Kramer. Are there any changes to the agenda tonight?
No, sir.
Okay, good. We will dispense of the reading of the minutes. Mr. Tyson, what is the first item on the agenda?
Foresight Group, on behalf of Life Storage, requesting a public hearing for development plan for a new building at 115 South Arrowhead Drive. It's a B3 district.
Evening. The existing facility is a self-storage.
What is your name and address?
Sorry, my name is Lee Rogers. I'm with the Foresight Group.
Just adjust the microphone a little bit, please. Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah.
The existing facility is a self-storage facility with several buildings on it. They have a kiosk-type office on the premises there. This plan is to take that kiosk office down and replace it with a much bigger building that has an office inside it and climate-controlled storage.
Are there any questions from the members of the commission? Are there any comments from the audience? Anybody for, anybody against? Anybody have any comments at all? Okay, sir, since this is a developmental plan, your public hearing has been held. Good luck on your project.
Thank you.
Next item is by J.M. Garrett and Son, on behalf of Timco. It's a public hearing for development plan for an addition to a building at 1180 Kershaw Street. It's a M1 district.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. My name is Richard Bollinger. I'm with J.M. Garrett and Son, and we're representing Timco with this small building addition to their property. They're a logistics company. It's just more of a warehouse type addition to what they have already out there on site.
Are there any questions from the members? Are there any questions, comments, for or against from the audience? All right, since this is a developmental plan, your public hearing has been held.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Next item by J.M. Garrett and Son, on behalf of Falcon Shops at Chantilly, a public hearing for development plan for 2 new buildings to be located at 10520 Chantilly Parkway. It's a B2 district.
Again, my name is Richard Bollinger. I'm with J.M. Garrett and Son. What you have before you is a development plan for Lot 3 out there. It consists of really 2 buildings that's being divided up into about 5 different restaurants. You have the plan before you. If you're not familiar with the area, it's just below the what was going to be the Lowe's site there where the Walmart is. Be glad to answer any questions for you.
Do we have any questions from the members? Do we have any questions, comments from anyone in the audience, for or against? All right, since this is a developmental plan, your public hearing has been held. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The next item by Flowers and White Engineering on behalf of Sonny Davis Construction. It's a public hearing for development plan for a new building to be located on the east side of Level Circle, some 200 feet south of Vaughn Road. It's an O1 district.
Good evening, Brad Flowers, Flowers and White Engineering, representing Sonny Davis. What we've got, a small office building, well, pretty good size, 6,600 square foot office building that we're putting in on Melrose Place, just south of the existing Care Place, to the west of Eastern Meadows Church. What they want to do is basically have 4 splits on this thing, multi-tenant office building.
Are there any?
Yeah, I got one. That drive, is that a private drive that
is a
entrance is off of?
It is a private drive. There's an access agreement that Mr. Level has with Eastern Meadows. That is a fully accessible lot for his, or fully accessible drive for this lot and the one that is south of it that's currently existing now.
Okay.
I think if you got the arrow, you'll be able to see the lot to the south accesses the same drive, but we do have a recorded easement for that.
Any other questions? Is there any questions or comments from any members of the audience? All right, since this is a developmental plan, your public hearing has been held. Thank you and good luck.
The next item is by Flowers and White Engineering on behalf of Level LLC. It's a request for final approval of Melrose Park Plat Number 3 on the east side of Level Circle, 200 feet south of Vaughn Road, M1 district, O1 district.
Yeah. Same piece of property that we just discussed for the development plan. Basically never was platted. It was held out when the initial Melrose plat was recorded. Mr. Level held that out, and now since they're selling this, they're going to go ahead and plat it for the construction of the new building.
Are there any questions from the commission? Comments? Are there any questions, comments from members of the audience? Okay, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made in second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand.
Thank you very much.
Next item by Professional Engineering Consultants on behalf of Capital Container. It's a public hearing for development plan for an addition to a building at 2555 Container Drive. It's a M1 district.
Good evening. My name is Pat Mosley. I work for Professional Engineering Consultants. And this addition at Capital Container is actually it's an open shed that they're going to use to store pallets.
Are there any comments, questions from the commission? Are there any questions, comments from the audience? All right, sir. Since this is a developmental plan, your public hearing has been held. Good luck on your project.
Thank you.
The next item by Jeff Code Engineers and Surveyors.
No, you got one
Oh,
more.
I'm sorry. I have skipped it.
Number 7.
Right. My mistake. Professional Engineering Consultants on behalf of Bruce Bowen, requesting final approval of Surf Pro Plat Number 1 on the east side of Troy Highway, 3,500 feet south of Taylor Road. It's a V3 district.
My name is Pat Mosley. I'm employed by Engineering Consultants. And what we're doing there is we're putting 3 pieces of property, making it one plat because so it would all be on one piece of property. I think the reason the city asked us to do that is because we had to run a force main that crossed the property line.
Are there any questions from the commission? Are there any questions, comments from the audience? All right, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion has been made and second. All those in favor? Those opposed? Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Jeff Code Engineers and Surveyors, on behalf of Old Ruin LLC, public hearing for development plan for a new building at 1115 Adams Avenue, say M1 district.
I'm Guthrie Jeffcoat with Jeffcoat Engineers and Surveyors. And this new building that's proposed on the development plan will consist of 158 storage units, about 10 feet by 15 feet in size, with 8 parking spaces out front, entering and emptying into Adams Avenue. Okay? Any questions?
Where is, I mean, I know y'all probably, this is the DP, and I know this will come along. Where are they going to be able to put signage? Is it just going to?
Sir?
Is this on?
Yes.
How are they going to do signage on this thing?
Run a little bit.
I'm jumping ahead, I know.
Yeah, running behind with it, David Robinson is doing the design of the building on this, and I really can't answer that for you. I wish I could.
It just seemed like not a lot of parking, too. I guess that.
Well, they're not going to be there at the same time. It's a lot of going and coming.
I've used that one, too.
Are there any other questions, comments?
I got a question from the staff. I found it interesting that each one of the development plans today has got all applicable requirements will be met. This one doesn't. Why?
They're going to have to seek
I can't.
4% coverage variance at the next Board of Adjustment.
I'm sorry?
They're going to seek a 4% coverage variance at the next.
It's not.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. We've already made it on the agenda for the Board of Adjustments for that coverage.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Are there any questions from the audience? All right, sir, since this is a developmental plan, your public hearing has been held. This is
Next item is by Jeff Code Engineers and Surveyors on behalf of William Bozeman. It's a public hearing for development plan for a new pole barn to be located at 7080 Mobile Highway, say M1 district.
I'm Guthrie Jeffcoat of Jeffcoat Engineers and Surveyors, and I also have Mr. William Bozeman here with me. If there's questions I can't answer, I'm sure he would help. This is a barn type, it's a pole barn type construction that's proposed that's going to house RVs. And we'll have room for about 10 RVs, rental RVs.
Guthrie, what is the, oh, excuse me, did I?
No, go ahead.
I just caught my eye when I was going through this earlier. The entry into it's pretty wide, or wider coming off of Mobile Highway, and then it slims down. What is the width of that smallest part in there, or do you have that? It's about 80 feet on where you actually turn off of the road into it. Mm-hmm. And then there's got the existing is 24 foot. It was just a question that popped up in my mind. If you hadn't got the dimensions, I mean, it's not a make or break deal.
Well, your right of way is actually 50 feet of Sphinx Drive coming off of Pyramid Drive, and then you got your 24 foot gravel drive off of US 31. So, it shows that it's 26 feet wide, is where he's gonna put a 26-foot wide gravel drive on back. See it?
Yeah, I just wondered, that right as you turned in, you get past the 80-foot part, that I didn't know what it shrunk down to. That was all. That was just again, a comment or thought I had when I was looking at it. But don't worry about it.
Okay.
It just, I
have a question, and this might be a little bit off, but what is a pole barn?
You wasn't raised on the farm,
No,
were
I
you?
was not.
Okay. But if you'd ever have to fill one up with hay, you'd know what it was. It's a lot of work. But it has partially or no sides on it. With usually it'll be just a gravel floor
I got you.
instead of concrete. So it looks somewhat unfinished, but it serves a purpose for storage of RVs.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
And did you say it's for rental RVs?
Yes, sir.
That'd be good to know.
there you go.
Yeah, there you are.
Can you put an RV in there?
You might put an R, but not an R and a V.
Are there any questions from the audience? Comments? All right, thank you, sir. Since this is a developmental plan, your public hearing has been held. Good luck.
Next item by Jeffcoat Engineers and Surveyors on behalf of William H. Bozeman, requesting final approval of the William Bozeman Plat Number 3 on the west side of Mobile Highway, 250 feet north of Pyramid Avenue. It's a M1 and Ag 1 districts.
Well, we're proposing for the same owner to plat the property into two lots to match the buildings that are there. And you see it, Lot A and Lot B, one of them being 2.68 acres and one of them 2.05 acres. And this says some of it has been platted before.
Any comments from the commission? Questions? Are there any comments, questions from the audience? All right, a motion is in order.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion has been made and second. All those in favor?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Good luck on your project.
The next item by Pilgreen Engineering on behalf of Sunville, Inc., requests final approval of Sunshine Village Plat Number 4 on the west side of Northeastern Boulevard, some 600 feet north of Wares Ferry Road, in the B3 and R99P districts.
I'm Pep Pilgreen with Pilgreen Engineering. This is Sunshine Village has been there for a long time, and this is just kind of cleaning up and making a business lot out front that had never been like that, although the businesses own it. They're just cleaning it up.
Any questions from the commission?
I just have to recuse myself from this vote. Or is it a DP or? No. No, I have to recuse myself from this vote.
Okay. Is there any questions, comments from the audience? All right, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion is made and second. All those in favor to approve? Thank you, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Next item by Pilgreen Engineering on behalf of Stony Brook LLC is a request for approval of a revised master plan for residential development at the west end of Treviso Place in a PUD district.
I'm Pep Pilgreen again, representing Stony Brook LLC. What we're doing is moving our lots around, the lot mixture, in order to give them the size lots that they'd like to have to develop. We really haven't changed the number of lots or anything in the development. We have some issues, some of this land, the backs of them in the 100-year flood, and it takes a little while to get approval from FEMA, so we kind of adjusted things.
Questions?
Well, you did reduce them, didn't you? You said you didn't change them, but it's going from 60 to 50 on the whip.
No. If you get back, if you look over at the top up there, you see the part that says future cruise. You can't see that, but on the top up there, we had a different mixture all along Overtour Drive, if that makes sense. Originally, we started out with those as 60s. We moved some 50s. We also changed some down at the bottom. Our mixed numbers, the total number of lots we've got is the same as we had before.
So you're not reducing it from 60 to 50? Is that what you're saying?
I think they're talking about the width.
Well, just read what it says.
No, what we're doing, what happened with this a long time ago is, well, we moved these lots around from our original layout, the layout of the whole 200 acres. And what we did was move these lots, some of these lots around, so all the 50s are in one spot and 60s in another. We used to have on Treviso, used to be 60s on both sides of the road. Well, now we've moved those 60s down to the other side where we had 50s. But we really haven't changed any number of lots on the whole thing.
So Cruz, Pep, I'm sorry. What you're really saying is you just reconfigured the lots, but you didn't decrease the number of lots. You just reconfigured where they were located.
That's right.
And is the mix still about the same 50s to 60s?
Right, it's the same mix.
Same mix.
It's the same mix, we just moved them around.
Moved the lot, yeah,
Right.
moved your lines around, okay.
And a lot of it has to do with engineering and storm drainage and trying to get the mix that Louder wants to build now that we can build.
So are these future lots part of the master plan that we will approve today?
Yes.
So when you get ready to build this out, these future lots, you don't have to come back down here to get that approved, do you?
Not for the master plan, no.
For the master
It would just
plan,
be
no.
a plat.
Correct, okay.
So the paperwork's just worded wrong.
Yeah, it's just paperwork. Is that what you're saying?
No, he's
Right,
saying,
Sonia?
Paperwork's right.
Well, it's been reduced then, isn't it?
No. Like Kippy said, it's just been reconfigured.
Well, I think what's tripping everybody up is the fact there's a note here in this rectangle, but it says from 60-foot lots to 50-foot lots. I think that might be the element that's confusing the members up here, but I understand what Pep is saying. It's on this, if you'll scroll back one, Mr. DJ. Somebody tell the DJ to scroll back one.
Yes, I see what you're saying. The lots on the north side of Treviso are now 50s that were 60s, I think.
Mike, go one page up. Yeah, right there.
See that note in the, stop right there. See that note on the left-hand side? I think that's what's confusing folks.
Yeah, because it's not 60s to 50s. I mean, the ones, I see what you're saying. I hadn't seen that, but the lots at the top up there are 50s. The ones at the bottom are 60s, but that's not the configuration that it was in the beginning.
I understand.
I hadn't seen that note, so. They're not all, if you look at the dimensions, they're 60 foot wide.
any other questions? Any questions, comments from the audience?
Tell them to come up to the
Come
mic.
up, please.
Come up to the mic, please. State your name, speak into the mic.
I'm Donnell Prater. What would be the configuration behind Treviso Place? Will the lots be 50 or 60? And will there be any drainage going on back there?
I'm assuming you're talking about Treviso Place that's already there. What's
That's
built now.
already there.
Right.
The one that's
Well, there'll be
Treviso
60-foot lots behind Treviso Place.
behind the houses that are already there.
Yeah, and I think those are 50s.
Okay.
When you guys say behind Treviso, you talking about north of Treviso or south of Treviso?
That is south.
South of
Talking
Treviso.
about
Facing
south,
south.
right. To the left of the green line or below the green line.
Into the mic, please.
To the left of the green line of what's on the screen, lots 8, 9, 10, and 11. And there will be some additional drainage inlets installed. There are some drainage inlets at the back of Treviso Place that's there now.
Thank you.
Well, Pep, to the left is to the west, and there aren't any houses there. To the south, there's houses off of Treviso.
No, I think, I'm talking about south of the green line.
Yeah, okay. That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Yeah. There are houses on Treviso Place now.
Okay.
That
I
are
was just-
50s.
Yeah, I got you.
Any other questions from the audience? A motion is in order.
That was just a DP, wasn't it?
No, that's,
What are we on?
We need approval.
that's the master plan. You have
Oh,
to
you got to
approve
go,
that.
yeah. Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? All right. Thank you very much.
Next item by Pilgrim Engineering on behalf of Louder New Homes, Inc., requesting final approval of Stony Brook Plat Number 11 on the western end of Treviso Place, located in a PUD district.
Pep Pilgrim again. This is the proposed plat for Plat 11. There are 60s and 50-foot lots in here. I think the thing says they're all 50s, but they're not.
Any questions from the commission? Are there any questions from the audience? Comments? All right, a motion is in order.
Hey, real quick, and
We just approved this. I thought we just.
We got a motion on the floor.
This is 13. We're on 13 now.
12 didn't require a
This is,
motion
12 did.
then. Okay, we're fine.
this is the plat for the same one.
Yeah. We have one motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and second. All those in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Next item by Amanda Stodmeyer, requesting to rezone one parcel of land on the northwest corner of Madison Avenue and Venora Avenue from institutional to B2.
Good evening. My name is.
Adjust the mic.
Good evening. My name is Amanda Stodmeyer. I'm the owner of 1353 Madison Avenue. I'm requesting rezoning to actually office 01 from B2. I spoke with the neighborhood association's president, Mr. Gary, and we came to an agreement to go with 01 instead of B2. Right now, the building is in poor condition, and I was going to renovate it and make it office space for an IT company that I actually own. The location of the property is in a hub zone. My partner and I were going to go after government contracts and try to make the space more valuable and create job opportunities for the area.
Are there any questions from the commission?
Is it your intent to use that building, that house, former house, and not tear it down and build a new building?
Yes, it's to renovate it and to make it office space, yes.
And you are the owner?
I am the owner, yes.
And when you renovate the house, you intend to keep the same character of the exterior?
Yes, sir.
Since
I
it's
do.
adjacent to some residential
Yes,
property?
the only thing that we're changing is the interior of the property, but we're keeping all of the exterior structure. Now, there was an old porch that was in very poor conditions. Just the screen portion of it has been removed, but I plan to go back over the top part with some sort of pergola or something that's very appealing and in the same form of the existing properties in the neighborhood.
Is she in the historic district over there, Tommy?
No, sir.
Well, yeah, you don't have to worry about all that other stuff then.
Okay.
I was just mainly asking just to maybe keep a little character in respect of residential character of that area
Right.
versus, but if you're not in historic district, you don't have to worry about those other criteria. Shit.
If she paints it and fixes it up, it'll be a big improvement.
Well, that's, I just still want her to find herself dealing with another element that's not applicable.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Now, you want to rezone it to O1, is that what you said?
Yes.
Rather than the B2.
She wants to go from R60 to O1. She, initially, she had wanted B2, but she got with the neighborhood association and they said that they would rather have O1,
Right.
which is actually her intent.
Yeah.
Okay, now,
That is correct, ma'am. You
That's
agree with
correct.
that?
The original intent was B2, but after speaking with the neighborhood association, they felt that that home could be turned into anything if I decided to sell it.
Correct.
And they didn't want that for their community. My original intent was to have it as office space. So I was okay with going to O1 because that was my intent originally.
Okay.
So ain't nobody hurt.
okay. Any other comments, questions? You know, we talked about spot zoning. There is no, I don't see an O1 in that area. And so we're gonna make that an O1. Yeah, there's.
B2's adjacent and
B2
across the
is-
street.
Yeah.
I think there is an office on
One block up,
North.
there's
Yes,
office
one-
space.
One block up on North Hopper Street, in that office.
You got
For
a cell
sale?
tower adjacent.
Yeah,
Right there.
cell tower.
Yeah, well, right next door is B2. Across the street is
B2.
B2.
Yeah.
All around right there is B2. That was when I went to the land use office, I was asking for O1. So I was advised that O1 would be considered spot zoning, which is something that the committee normally goes against. So they said, go with B2. But then after getting kickback from the neighborhood association and their concerns for the community, I said, okay, I'll go down to O1. But if you want to give me B2.
No. I just asked, I didn't see it on here.
Well, actually, B2 is what the land use division recommended.
Right. But B2 might not be good for the neighborhood.
I agree with the neighborhood. I think it's fine.
You know what, the staff just brought up an excellent point. That has nothing really to do with her presentation. Tommy, aren't we getting some company to look at the land use plan for the city, updating that plan?
We have.
So what's the status of that? I mean, when are you guys gonna present something for us to take a look at?
That should be coming out in the next 45, 60 days.
And hopefully it'll clean up a lot of these rezoning requests, because it goes to the chairman's point. It kind of puts us in a spot zoning decision in some cases, and in her case, she's trying to compromise to get something done, but it's not really what the staff has recommended. So it's just kind of in a quagmire until we get this thing done.
Right. Well, in this case, I think it's a good compromise, O1. Serves her purpose. Structure will be restored, and it won't be a conflict to the neighborhood.
And I'm, like I said earlier, I'm not necessarily saying that my comment is applicable to her request. It's just on a larger scale. You got another rezoning coming up here, and we've been doing these rezonings so frequently that I'd almost want to see this new land use plan, and hopefully it takes a lot of this request out, and we don't have to do this every time we meet.
But it's nice to every once in a while be able to use some common sense too.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it.
And that's what I think.
Yeah, she's
Ms.
got
Studmeyer is
an excellent
trying to do.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, and it helps both sides. But my point
Absolutely.
is, the larger version of this is the new plan, and hopefully we don't have to be in this position every time.
Kippy, that sword cuts both ways. If some land planner from Atlanta decides something that the neighborhood doesn't like, it's going to be very difficult to fight it. And we have the opportunity here to work with the neighborhoods.
I agree with you on that, sir, but my point is, I doubt if that plan will get out of this, out of its normal approach unless we approve the plan. Will we get a chance to approve it, Tommy?
I think so.
I hope so.
Yes, sir.
We're the planning commission, so I hope doggone well we get a chance to approve the land use plan.
You're talking about the 2040 plan? Is that what it is? Yeah. And it's going to be when we gonna have this?
I think in the next couple of months.
Has anybody on this commission?
I've been to most all the meetings.
Who's been to the meeting?
I have.
All right. Let's not digress. Are there any comments from the audience? Questions? Yes, come forward, please. State your name and speak into the mic.
Chairman Reed, my name is Gene Gunner. I'm a resident of 2130 Capitol Avenue in Montgomery. I've been a 30-year resident of Capitol Heights neighborhood, and I'm currently president of the board for Capitol Heights Civic Association Incorporated. And I'm a little confused because I touched base with the petitioner here, and are you Kids Investment Firm, LLC? Okay. Well, since I spoke with her, I've spoken to some of the members of the association to get their counsel, and Mr. Moss there said there weren't any changes at the beginning. So is this change any at all from the B2?
Mr. Moss didn't say anything.
No, changes in the agenda.
Tommy.
Okay.
Mr. Tyson.
Okay, excuse me. Is this still a rezoning for B2?
No.
No.
01.
01.
It originally came in for B2, but she discussed it with the neighborhood, and originally she wanted it for 01, but she discussed it with the neighborhood, and they would prefer 01 as opposed to B2.
Well, after I talked to her, I pulled the warranty deed, which I have a copy for you, and the purchase of the property and half of the lot next door is Kids Investment Firm, LLC, and I thought that this young lady here was the SDS company that was going to lease the property. Is that not right?
Into the mic, please, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Yes, I did speak with you on the phone. I am Kids Investments, and I own SMS Solutions, which is also the IT company. So I'm that same person.
Okay. I was not aware of that, and I was the one that suggested the office space. Based on this information that I got from the land use office, would you like to take a look at this, Mr. Chairman?
We have them. We all got it here.
Is that the same thing we have?
Okay, yeah. And because it refers to Kids Investment Firm separate from SMS Solutions. So since then,
some of the residents of Capitol Heights have expressed their opinion, and they were in opposition to the rezoning. And if you
A point of clarification.
yes,
You mentioned who owns it and all of that. What is your issue? Is your issue with it being a B2, or is your issue with it being an O1?
actually either one.
You don't want it. You don't want either one.
Correct. The slide that we're looking at here, behind that house that she wants to, that obviously she says she owns, and that she wants to lease to a company, SMS Solutions there. Behind that house, there are 15 residences on West Venora Avenue, and they have the same zoning currently as the house on the corner. And across from there, on East Venora, there's 13 residences. So you've got a total of 28 residences that property sits on the corner. Our neighborhood plan, which most of you are probably familiar with that. Could I show you a copy of that? It includes
Mr. Chairman, can I ask this person,
Sure.
who developed your neighborhood plan?
Beg pardon?
Who developed your neighborhood plan?
Actually, the city of Montgomery and the Planning and Development Department.
So this body, we
Yes,
developed the plan.
two of the members of the panel were actually part of this, and it may be new to some of you, but it is on the City of Montgomery website. If you just search Capitol Heights neighborhood plan, and you'll see that across the street from the property, just on the block that's pictured there, there's about 12 businesses on that block just across the street there.
What are you suggesting that we do? What would you suggest for this property? Let it continue to stay and deteriorate?
Well, that's a good question, and I hate to see deterioration myself, but it is the desire for the house to stay residential from.
It's not currently residential. It's zoned as institutional at the moment, along with everything back behind that property on Venora.
Just because it's institutional don't mean that there are people living there that's their residence. Okay.
Sir, I have a quick, Mr. Gunner, I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
You said originally you suggested 01, and she changed it to 01, but then you found out that she was applying or buying this through an entity, and somehow that changed. Was that what changed your mind? Is the entity that she's using, like the name, the fact that she has an LLC?
I just went down to the courthouse and pulled the warranty, and I just assumed that it was owned by somebody else, so that I took our conversation as being invalid.
Okay, I know, but we validated now that she is the owner of the entity that, and it is the same person that called. So does that change your mind?
No, sir, I have to represent the community, and
So she is the person that you talked to. You did suggest 01, and you have validated that, and you're saying now you represent that is not what the community wants.
that's correct.
Okay.
Now, I've also...
Sir, do you have to make another point as opposed to saying the same thing you've said?
Can I speak just one?
Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
I mean, what he's
Into the mic,
finding-
into the mic.
What he's finding out now is not what the community knows now. So he's saying that, okay, now that he's finding out that I own SMS Solutions and KEDS Investments, I'm still that one person. The community doesn't know that, because the community knows that there's a KEDS Investment and there's an SMS Solutions, and they don't know who owns it. So the community still should know that I own this property. They just were misinformed after he got some additional information.
Sir, it sounds like there's a breakdown in communication between the neighborhood surrounding this property and what we're here to do today, which is discuss zoning. Would you agree to that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I do have
Microphone, into the microphone.
Yes, sir. I do have something else for you. It's the planning principles of that neighborhood plan that I'd like for you to look at.
Thank you. All right.
And I do
sir.
apologize to you, young lady. I had no idea.
I think we've gone a little long here. Is there anybody else in the audience? Yes, sir. Come forward.
Make room for him.
How you doing? I'm Jack Pearson. This issue, since it's already 01, I'm not sure if there's... Sir? Address? 5 South Capitol. I own 4 properties on Madison Avenue. 1516 Madison, 1701 Madison, 5 South Capitol Parkway, 1907 and 1909 Madison.
I think you can speak.
Those first few blocks out of town, as y'all know, have been done a real disservice in years past. Nobody on this board. But all that was residential as you come out of town, they're on the left-hand side up on the bluff, spot zoning, we're in that block. There's been a little momentum recently in the 1600 block on the south side of Madison where some of that spot zoning has returned to residential. I know the Guyets have done a couple of properties that they've turned those businesses back into residential. So those blocks coming out of town are better as residential. Those homes up on the bluff have real potential as residential. They have no potential at businesses at this point. But I hope this issue, if anything, those first blocks out of town, there's a little momentum to go back to residential rather than more commercial. But hers sits there kind of by itself, so maybe that one house can be a business without just ruining the visual effect of those homes, because coming up Madison out of town, those are houses. And that's what they were built to be. Now hers does sit kind of by herself on that one little lonely corner of the Nora, but that 1500 block on the north side where it's just because of spot zoning, where some are kind of businesses, some are houses, and then on the south side of Madison, the 1600 block is the same issue. So I hope we just keep that in mind as we go forward in those first few blocks of Madison Avenue, because there is finally some momentum there. The limestone house is getting redone. There's a dumpster there right by the church. I'm right next door to that, just finished renovating that. But I think she sits where, and she's already got that zoning, but I certainly don't want to see more businesses on those residential, what should be residential coming up Madison.
Now, when you say residential, you're talking about single family or multifamily?
It's both.
It's
Just
mixed
like
in there, right?
Madison's a lot of both.
It's a lot of both single family and multifamily.
Oh, sure.
And some of those multifamily structures in there look horrible.
Damn right. Yeah, when I bought the investment property there in the 1500 block, there's a fourplex next to me that is nothing but a bat cave. As long as I've owned my house, it has one apartment that is livable. And of course, the fourplex on the north side of Madison, it's just completely empty.
So it sounds like what she's doing is about to do some improvement regardless of
Yeah,
the
that
zone.
little corner where she sits.
Right.
But you also mentioned business, and she's talking office now. Are you making a distinction between that, or are you saying that business and office in your...
It's all not residential to me.
Here's the question. Are you for or against this particular project going forward as an 01?
The specific.
Yeah. Regardless of everything else you know and have spoken.
I'll pass on this. Not positive or negative on it.
Thank you for your feedback.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I want to say this. Thank you for this district map you gave us. If I'm looking at this correctly, where this lady is talking about doing her work there, this rezoning, it's right there on the edge of this district. It's not in the middle of the district, which is causing some astronomical problem. It's right here on the edge, based on what I see. And based on the previous comment by the gentleman that came up, I really don't see where she has a problem. And it's not going to adversely affect the neighborhood from what I see. So she's agreed to keep the character of the house intact. And so I don't think from a aesthetical value you're decreasing anything there. So as far as I'm concerned, this is not a significant impact that's going to be harmful to that area.
Well, the biggest thing, and I spoke with a young lady about it as well, is a lot of people are concerned about the exterior of the property. And I think Mr. Reeves asked her a question concerning that as well. And I think the community would like to see the exterior of the property stay.
I want to clarify something so we don't get too far off base, Mr. Chairman. I asked the lady, was she going to do some renovations or whatever, and she said that she was going to maintain the exterior character of that structure.
That's
if I'm
what
wrong,
I understood as well.
So from an aesthetical value of that view through there, I don't see where her request is going to be harmful, especially if there was an earlier agreement to go to 01. That's the first thing. Now, if the agreement is changed because of some other entity, then that's another issue. But as far as what we're looking at here, I don't see where the harm is. And as someone said, we'll just use common sense when it's time to vote.
And thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very
But
much.
bottom line is, it is spot zoning.
Yes, it is. Is there any other questions or comments from anyone? All right. A motion is in order.
Move to approve.
Second. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold up. You move to approve it as what?
01.
01.
That's what
we're talking, that's what we're discussing.
I just want to make sure it's clear.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. The motion has been made to make it 01. And second. All those in favor? Good.
That's for all
Good luck.
opposed.
Any opposed? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. All right, the motion passes as 01. Thank you very much and good luck.
The next item is by Felix Akwuba. It's a request to rezone 2 parcels of land on the east side of Mobile Highway from M1 to M3.
Good evening, members of the City Council and the audience. My name is Felix Akwuba. I'm presently located on Mobile Highway, 3523 Mobile Highway and 3527 Mobile Highway. I wish to apply or wish to seek your permission to rezone my present location from an M1 light industrial to an M3 general industrial use. If you permit me or if I'm approved, I intend to acquire rebuildable salvage vehicles from the auction primarily, and then I wish to rebuild them in accordance with the law and remarket them as rebuilt salvage vehicles. And then the reusable remnants that are not used here but can be used overseas, I intend to export them overseas where they can be sold and be turned into useful use. And then the remnants I'll recycle immediately. Thank you.
Question, are you doing any of this activity now?
Sir?
And how, the cars that are on the lot right now, how long would you say they have been there?
Presently, there was kind of ignorance on my part as per the procedures to this, but I know better now. And right now, I think I've asked a lot of questions, and I've been intimated what the law requires me to do and what I'm expected to do if I intend to run such a business. So, I don't know if I...
His question is, do you export cars now?
I don't export cars as what I do is that the ones that are reusable, I use them here. The ones that cannot be used here, I package them and export them.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for the gentleman.
Yes.
Have you had any conversation with the people in the residential side, on the residential portion that is adjacent to you?
No, sir.
So you want, let me make sure I got this straight. You want us to consider rezoning a property for this particular use and with this kind of impact to the area and not have talked to anybody that has a house close to you?
So they have similar businesses on Mobile Highway. They have an existing junkyard on Mobile Highway. And adjacent to my property is a similar business.
If you look, scroll that map down. Tell them to scroll the map down.
Right there.
There's a residence, on Lark Drive that touches your property. Have you talked to anybody that lives in that neighborhood or those pieces of property that touch that red line?
I can answer that for him.
Madam Counsel.
He has not. I'm sorry. I'm Audrey Graham, City Council, District 4. This is my area. He has not spoken with the people in that community. Actually, I live in that community, so we have not had a conversation with him about it. But I'm here to help him, not to just necessarily be against him in any way. So if y'all have any questions for me, I'm willing to answer those.
But ma'am, how are you planning to help him?
Sir?
How are you planning to help him?
Our initial, what we want to do is see if we can't get them zoned, and this was Mr. Tyson and I and several ones from the city. We've had conversation about trying to bring him up to par because he has been operating illegally there. One thing we're looking into is moving and relocating him to a zoning area, area where it's currently zoned, and that he may be able to function. But the agreement was with the city is that he'll have to continue to go through this process until we get him moved. So he couldn't just not show up here today, even though we're looking at other properties. He still had to come and present himself and go forward with the process of making his business legit. So that's why we're here. He's here and I'm just here as City Council. Come on, Mr. Keep it, because I see the look on your face.
I don't want to participate in anything that's illegal.
Right.
You just said he's operating illegal, and if he's operating illegal, that's the city's problem. It doesn't need to come up here. If he's operating illegal, you need to take that to the city.
No, he needs to get a zone, and that's what the city has already said. He has to be properly zoned. That's why we are here.
So
it's not about the illegal part, it's about the zoning part.
But if this request is not granted, then he's still illegal.
Right.
So what happens then?
He's going to still be looking for somewhere else to operate or either bring it before the council to object. So however that goes.
Okay, well, the city council needs to handle this.
Go ahead. Question. Now, if he's looking for somewhere to relocate to, why we need to rezone this property?
Again, when the city and I first talked with Mr. Felix about the matter, this is the step he should go into. I came up with the suggestion after we came with a protocol on what he needed to do to get himself together or get his business legal. Let's say it that way. What he needed to do to make his business legal, I came up with the suggestion of maybe we should move him or help him to find somewhere else to relocate. That was an afterthought after the city had a strategic plan that he had to follow. And that plan was to present himself before this board. That was the plan that the city of Montgomery told him he needed to do to come up to par in order to operate there. So that's what he's doing, what was told for him to do by the city.
Mr. Ty-
You live in the neighborhood.
So if you want to table this until we can
That's,
kind
that's
of,
what I was about to say.
yeah.
Mr. Akuba? Up to the mic, please, get up to the mic. Would you like to talk, have a public hearing with the neighbors, with the people in that area for the next 30 days and then bring it back next month? And when you bring it back, you know, maybe you have a location where you're gonna move and have some sort of plans. Would you be agreeable to do that? Or do you just want to vote now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, what?
Let her talk for you, man. But Mr. Chairman, I have a question that's pretty, it's bothersome to me.
Hold on just a second, sir.
But I,
Okay, go ahead, Kip.
Good evening.
this issue of him operating an illegal business is not something for us to participate in. That's for the city to enforce its own ordinances against businesses that operate illegal. Well, so my question is, if he's operating illegally, then looks like the city needs to get involved to deal with the legal aspect of this business. And that's where I want to stop.
Okay, but then, you know, they've gotten involved and it was the shutdown, but, you know, we won't, I'm in the business, let me just tell you where I am. I'm in the business that I want to see businesses thrive. And if that means we got to do something to move them and help them get right where they're wrong, then I want to help them get right where it's wrong so he can pay taxes into the city can gain some, he can continue to operate a business. That's where I am with it.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that's why I'm just here to make sure if that means we got to move him, that means he can't be rezoned, whatever that means, it means that. But the city they have addressed that issue about the illegal business. And so they told him, you need to get legal, and getting legal is to come here. This is starting place. If you vote him down and he can't do it, it is what it is. He moved forward.
Ma'am, you live in the neighborhood right there.
I do.
Right behind that business.
I do.
Are you and the neighbors in favor of him continuing this business were it legal?
I think he should have that conversation with the community.
Out of that, okay, so
Okay,
you're not
because,
speaking.
you know, he's been operating there 3 years, let me say
You're
that.
not speaking for the
Right.
community. Okay.
Right,
So
I
in
think he
order-
should have that conversation with the community.
Just to clarify, because, you know, illegal, that's a big word, you know, and I think it's, you know, kind of, to get a business license, you have to have the proper zoning in
Right.
which you're operating the business. So it's kind of the chicken or the egg thing. What Kippy's saying is it's the city. What you're saying is for him to get a business license, he has to have proper zoning
Right.
to have the business license for you to operate for everybody to win. So can we kind of unpack the chicken or the egg? And so this is the first step, right?
Right, this is the first step.
So I just wanted to clarify that because there could be some confusion between all of us.
If he were to have this rezoned, does he get a business license?
He's gonna have to go to the Board of Adjustment as well.
Well, he's still gonna have to go to the Board of Adjustment.
Yes, sir.
For a business license, for what he's doing.
To get legal, yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, he's been operating 3 years without a license?
It started out as auto sales, correct? And it morphed into something different?
That's correct.
He'll have to answer that, I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Is
Did you
there
start
anybody
off
else
as
from the
auto
community?
sales, or did you
Ma'am.
start off-
I'm in the
Who's
area.
person
Yeah,
behind
we've
That's
heard.
his wife. This is his
Oh,
wife.
okay.
Good evening. Good evening,
Hello.
sir.
Hey, how are you?
State your name
Diamond Akuba,
and your address.
737 West Fleming Road, Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay.
36105.
Okay. Go ahead. Did you want to say something?
What I wanted to say is that, like you said, he started off with car sales and he had a license for that. And he even had a license for dismantling from the state. But when he tried to get from the city, they told him he has to be zoned properly. And so that's why we're here.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Akuba, I'll ask you again. Do you want to withdraw tonight, take care of the neighborhood and talk to everybody in there and bring it back next month?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right. So we'll see you on the agenda for next month, April.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I hear what
City do whatever they want to do.
I hear you. So now we're about to participate in all the businesses that are out there operating without a business license. They can come down here and get corrected after the fact without the city enforcing their own business license ordinances. I'm just saying this is not the proper procedure to make a correction when in fact this is a business license issue. What does this have to do with the zoning?
Let me ask one other question. Do you own this property or are you leasing this property?
We're purchasing it, still paying mortgage on it.
You own you own the property?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And he's got a business license or whatever it was, he's trying to change it.
One final matter of business is everybody's looked over the notes, looked over the minutes from last month. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion? All right, meeting adjourned.